Let's take a look at some of the best colonial and early American coins sold at the Heritage Fun Auction. In 1783, as peace with Britain was negotiated, a new motto appeared on copper: Nova Constellatio, a new constellation. 13 stars arranged around an all-seeing eye, watching over a fragile union just beginning to cohere. These pieces were part of Finance Superintendent Robert Morris's proposed federal coinage system, an early, unrealized attempt to give the Confederation a national monetary system. This absolutely beautiful example is graded as MS63 Brown by NGC, and when it crossed the auction block was sold for $7,015. In 1787, as a stronger union was being debated in Philadelphia, someone struck a bold declaration in copper: Immunis Columbia, a free America, sovereign, protected, independent. And on the reverse, a large eagle spreads its wings, an emblem of federal ambition, paired with E pluribus unum, out of many, one. Long believed to be a private pattern meant to secure a national coinage contract, the number of surviving pieces suggests that they may well have circulated, however briefly so. Here we see a fantastic example, graded as MS62 Brown by NGC, that was sold at auction for $10,980. In the 1660s, when the American colonies were still young, Mark Newby brought the St. Patrick coppers to the American colonies. Pieces heavy with royal symbolism and laden with private ambition. They circulated in a world where money was whatever people agreed it was. Most survivors are copper. Silver examples like this one are extraordinary outliers. Sometimes called farthings, sometimes called shillings. Their exact status remains the subject of debate, but that ambiguity is a part of the fun, really. The grade of AU50 from PCGS was enough to secure a final bid of $16,470. In 1796, a Welsh idealist by the name of P. Myddelton dreamed of planting an English artisan colony along the Ohio River. He commissioned a coin for the nation that did not yet exist. The token served both as currency proposal and manifesto. The dream, however, collapsed quickly, as Myddelton was imprisoned for sedition before mass coinage could begin. What survives are patterns, fragments of an abandoned dream. 53 silver pieces are known. Copper strikings are far rarer still. This copper example, certified as proof 64 Brown, and was sold by auction's close for $18,300. In 1787, the nation's first federal commissioned copper coins carried a warning: mind your business. Not a rebuke in the sense that we might understand it today, but rather a philosophy: tend to your affairs. The sundial and Fugio Cent marked the passage of time. The linked rings and the inscription of "We are one" declared the Union under the name United States. This boldly struck MS66 red-brown example from NGC displays substantial clash marks on either side of the coin and raised $20,740 at auction. In 1785, the Confederation Congress was fragile, the treasury all but empty, and the idea of national coinage still very much unsettled. Yet someone placed George Washington on a copper and paired him with the word Confederatio. Whether pattern or circulating coin remains debated to this day, but their worn surfaces strongly argue that they passed hand to hand. Only 6 examples of this large star's 1785 Confederatio Washington copper are known. This coin survives in VF20 with more detail than the grade would initially suggest, and was sold at auction for $24,400. Long before the US Mint, before Revolution or Boston harbors soaked in tea, Massachusetts struck silver in defiance of royal authority. The results were coins like this pine tree sixpence from the Massachusetts Bay Colony. While dated 1652, it is likely that the coin was actually created some years later, the earlier date acting as a ruse to skirt royal prohibition on minting coins. This rare coin survives in a surprising grade of MS64 and by auction's close was sold for $48,800. The 1652 pine tree coins came in a few different denominations, the most common of which is likely the shilling, with 12 pennies in silver. The large planchet Rockler-style press issues show the earliest method: silver rolled into strips, then struck, and then sheared apart. The ragged edges and seemingly trivial clips are not flaws as such, but fingerprints of the Boston Mint. This MS65 example, housed in an NGC slab, stands as a prime example of just such a coin, and when it passed under the auctioneer's gavel, it sold for $40,260. In 1792, as the young republic debated whether a president's portrait belonged on its coinage, a group of English token makers answered that with seeming satire. If Americans feared monarchy, then Birmingham would give them not just empire, but Rome itself. George Washington appears here not as a farmer general, but as a Roman emperor, laureled, styled, and faintly theatrical, and Washington disliked such classical affectation. This astounding piece is today graded as MS63 red-brown by NGC and sold at auction for $58,560. In the autumn of 1785, New Yorkers noticed something new in their pockets, a new and curious kind of coppers. The New York Jersey Gazette wrote that it was bright and glossy, resembling soldiers' buttons from the late war. 13 stripes on one side, USA on the other. This is what over time would become known as the bar coppers. Their exact origins remains shrouded in mystery, though Thomas Wyon in Birmingham seems as likely as any a creator. This MS65 brown example is a lovely survivor and at auction was sold for $85,400. The Continental Dollar is an enigmatic survivor of American early history. Many unanswered questions still remain concerning its origins, true purpose, and makers. A sense of mystique surrounds it, like a mist of revolution that filled the spring air in 1776. The fact that so many different varieties of this coin exist as well doesn't exactly help to alleviate the question surrounding it. But ultimately, does any of that really matter? The coin stands today as a tangible reminder of a pivotal period in history when a group of people came together and declared that tyranny would not stand, and that some truths are simply self-evident. For this Continental Dollar, graded as MS62 Plus by PCGS, after selling for $88,450 at auction, you could, I suppose, say that it remains self-evident that it remains one of the most sought-after coins in American numismatics. Subscribe to WNN and feel free to watch another video about the pattern coins of 1792 next. right here. For the World Numismatic News, I am Numisman saying thank you for watching, keep collecting, and have a fantastic day.